A 401 cabin or condo may be better. In this episode, I'm going to answer the question, should I invest in a 401k or buy a vacation home? You're going to be surprised with my answer. You can have your cake and eat it too. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I've helped many people for now more than 4.5 decades prepare for their dream retirement, which oftentimes in their minds, when I say, what would you like in retirement? And many people say, ooh, we'd love to have that dream cabin or vacation condo that we can spend time in during our golden years. And I go, why don't you have that right now? Because we're busy socking away money, saving for retirement in our 401ks at work so that we'll have the wherewithal to be able to buy the cabin or condo, vacation home later on. And I'm going, let me show you something that you're probably not even aware of. And you could be enjoying a cabin or condo with your children, not just your grandkids, all through your earning years. And then during your retirement, you'll have all these memories and you'll come out probably better than putting money in the 401k. And then later on, taking that money, paying tax on it to buy a cabin or a condo. People just don't think about the impact of taxes, appreciation, and what the real goal is. So let me further explain the dilemma that people face when they're thinking, golly, should I just sock away every bit of money I can into a 401k so that at retirement, I'll have enough money to finally buy this dream cabin or condo, vacation home that we've always wanted? Or, golly, we'd sure like to be enjoying a vacation home now. What is the best thing to do? Now, most people would say, oh, no, you have to sacrifice. You're going to have to put off those dreams and save. Save. And then you'll have enough money to get those things later in life. Well, I'm a big one for smelling the roses along the way. You can have your cake and eat it too. So when we talk about this dilemma, oftentimes people think, well, I'm going to save the maximum amount I can into my 401k because I would have to save $1,000 less a month to be able to service a mortgage payment on a cabin or a condo because I don't have the money to pay cash for that. So I'd be forced to finance it. And now I'm going into debt for a vacation home. I'm going, you don't understand how real estate works and how investing works. And so I begin to show them how they can get the same basic tax benefits by taking out a mortgage to own a cabin or a condo, be buying it through the use of a mortgage because it's going to appreciate in value. And it's probably going to appreciate as good or better than a 401k grows. And you get the same type of a tax deduction that an IRA or 401k does. And at the end of the day, I'm going to show you what would be far better, in my opinion, than taking out a bunch of money out of your 401k at age 60 or 65 and being clobbered with taxes. And you go, wow, I only have this much after tax. And now the cabin or condo I could have bought for $200,000 years ago is going to cost me $800,000. This didn't make sense. Yep. So if this is intriguing you already and you're thinking about somebody who ought to view this, share the video. Subscribe, click the notification bell because I post a new educational video almost on a daily basis. I don't want you to miss out. And here's a sneak preview of a free gift at the end of this episode that I want to make sure you get, which is a 300-page book with all kinds of charts, graphs, and explanations. But as we continue with this concept, many times I have helped people establish what I call a 401 cabin or a 401 condo. Now, is there a section of the Internal Revenue Code that is called a 401 cabin? No. I'm just using the term from 401k to say, you know what, maybe your goal that you've stated, Jim and Mary Jones, of having enough money in your 401k to finally, at the end of the day in retirement, to have enough money to buy your vacation home is something that you could actually be smarter to buy now, even if you don't have the money. A 401 cabin or an IRA, individual retirement abode, okay? I have a cabin, and I've owned it for more than 20 years. And in a nutshell, we bought this cabin with 20 acres back in the day for $100,000. Now, people look at that now and they go, wait a minute. You only paid $100,000 for this? Yep, it has doubled at least twice. Okay, it doubled from 100,000 to 200,000, 200,000 to 400,000. It's worth more than that now. But let's just take the snapshot in time. Let's say it took 20 years to do that. So in 20 years, the cabin that I bought for 100,000 is now worth 400,000. Have you got it? Okay. Now, had I been saving $1,000 a month in a 401k for 20 years, I would finally maybe have enough money, if my 401k grew well, to be able to take out the money, I think, to buy the cabin. But wait a minute, it doesn't cost $100,000 anymore. It now costs $400,000 because the costs have gone up. And I go, well, okay, I have $400,000 in my 401k. No, you don't. Uncle Sam has a permanent tax lien on that. You pull out $400,000, you're only netting $300,000. Wait a minute. You're still short the $100,000 that you could have bought the cabin for 20 years earlier. You're still short. People go, my heck, what was I thinking? Yeah, see, you could have taken the $1,000 and that would have made the mortgage payment easily on a $100,000 mortgage on a cabin. In fact, it would be less than that. And so you pay a mortgage payment and that has mortgage interest and that's tax deductible. So you get the same tax break indirectly as contributing money to a 401k, but you're getting it because of a mortgage. But what's the trade-off? People say, well, yeah, but you're paying interest. Well, yeah, but look at the asset. It's doubling twice to $400,000. Hello? See, people who invest in real estate understand this concept. Paying interest is your friend, not your foe. By doing that, you're getting a tax break and the real estate is appreciating, but I'm going to have you rethink your thinking. What would you rather have at the end of the day? I mean, I would like to enjoy a cabin or a condo for 20 years while my kids are young and growing up and so forth, instead of trying to save and save and save and finally hope I have enough money and then after tax still be short by the same amount that I could have bought it for 20 or 30 years earlier. Is this making sense? So I've helped many people acquire a cabin, a condo, a vacation home, and redirect money they were contributing to their 401k if part of their 401k plan was to be able to someday buy a vacation home for cash. Well, they could enjoy it and have actually better rates of return doing it the way I'm talking about. So I'm going to connect this for you next. So let's imagine for a moment John and Susie, and they chose to put money as much as they possibly could into a tax-deferred 401k or their IRAs to eventually have enough money to buy that cabin or condo they've always dreamed of. And so they want to have a romantic weekend, and John says to Susie, "Hey, honey, how about this weekend we sit down together in front of the fireplace and look at our 401k statements? And hopefully we made some money this last quarter or this last year." Is that going to excite Susie? No. Who is going to be interested in looking at IRA and 401k statements for a romantic weekend with their spouse? But let's switch that. What if John said to Susie, "Hey, honey, how about we spend a romantic weekend down at the 401 cabin or in the 401 condo down in Palm Springs?" Now, you're going to score points. I think most people would prefer to have the enjoyment of a condo, a cabin, a vacation home throughout their lifetime instead of waiting until the end, especially when they have to have 4 times the money to be able to buy it down the road. And so all of the growth on their 401k was gobbled up to be able to afford it down the road when they could have bought it for 1/4 that price 20 years earlier, as I said. And so I think it's going to be far more beneficial if you can get the same tax benefits, you get the same appreciation rate. Many times mathematically, people come out ahead by allocating some of their 401k contribution to owning a vacation home because its appreciation and its tax benefits end up benefiting the people at the end of the day with far greater impact on their balance sheet, their statement of net worth, than their 401ks grew to after deducting the tax impact on the 401ks. I have written about this in some of my books like Last Chance Millionaire. So rethink your thinking, and I'm sure you would rather be looking at an album of photos of years and years of family outings and couple retreats in a cabin or a condo than a file cabinet full of 401k statements. That does not excite me. So let's connect the dots here. If you thought it was best to save in a 401k and you socked away $1,000 a month for 20 or 30 years, and now you have $400,000 to be able to finally buy that vacation, cabin, condo, whatever you want. And again, like I've said, you pull out $400,000 and you have to pay tax. At even a 25% combined federal and state income tax rate, you're going to be lucky to net $300,000. And you're going to be shocked to find that the condo or cabin you could have built 20 or 30 years before for $100,000 now cost you $400,000. This is true. I told you that story with my own cabin. See, I would rather have that file cabinet full of memories, photos of weekend retreats with my kids, my grandkids, with my spouse in our 401 cabin or condo, so to speak, than a file cabinet full of these 401k statements. And when you look at it on your financial balance sheet, your cabin or condo likely has appreciated as good or better than the 401k. Most 401ks in America are only averaging 3.5%. Did you hear that? Most real estate is appreciating at least 5, 7, even 10%. So, hello? You may end up with a cabin or a condo worth $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 versus money in the 401k only grew to $400,000. What was the better investment? Which one built the better memories? See, you have to rethink your thinking. Now, I don't think you should consume all of your retirement savings because you've got to have money to buy food and gas and groceries. But if you're earmarking some of your 401k for some future vacation home, rethink your thinking. You can enjoy that now and probably come out ahead by redirecting some of the money that you're putting into a 401k. And instead of waiting 20 or 30 years to then buy that vacation home, buy it now because it's an investment too if you buy it right. If you want to learn more about this, you ought to read some of my books. In fact, my most recent best-selling book is called The Laser Fund. It's a 300-page book. Here's how you can claim your free copy of that book. So how can you learn more? If this has piqued interest, I would love to gift you a free copy of my most recent best-selling 300-page book, The Laser Fund, which is actually 2 books in one. This book here is about 200 pages, comprised of 14 chapters with all kinds of charts and graphs and explanations of how to diversify and create the foundation for a tax-free retirement. Now, if you learn more right brain with stories and examples, you flip the book over and read this one. This is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 chicken soup for the financial soul stories like the one I just told you. If you like to use your whole brain, I would recommend you read both books. But it's 300 pages. This has been flying off of our warehouse shelves. I'll tell you what, I will pay for the book. You go to laserfund, L-A-S-E-R, fund.com. It's on the screen here. And claim your free copy. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I will send out a book to you. There's also options there for you to listen and learn and watch and learn. But here's to your brighter future.